right, welcome back, Smite fans, and my name is Freight Train. Once again, this is going to be joined by Gore Miser as Verbalocity, our co-caster that did earlier, the power couple of Friday Night Smite. And we want to thank D Sinks, man. Give him a follow, guys, at DY Sinks for his Twitter, man. Good guy over there, obviously casting for us here at Team Eager. Wanted to give him the shout out. But hey, Gore, guess what? We gave a little love to the old Cog Prime. We gave a little love to the Ego. It's time to give a little love to the Legion squad, and Mike and Ikes is up next.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. It's very similar to something like we saw last game. A lot of people, you're going to recognize one of these teams. Every single name on it is someone you will know. And the other side, I don't know the names, but I have heard that they are actually doing a boot camp here in the U.S. They're from Australia, and they are going to be going into Worlds. So this is going to be people who are qualified for Worlds versus people who are qualified for Worlds.
This is going to be a really good matchup. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, Erlong Tier going to go ahead and get banned out first, and then Sobek's going to get the boot as well. Not going to want to deal with that support. So, Sobek, you know, he's so popular, man. He's just a good character.
And Susano being banned out. After seeing what Andenster was able to do with Susano earlier, I'm not very surprised to see this get taken away. I mean, he got a Penta.
Not that many people are that mechanically sound, though. Andenster definitely was really, I mean, for that early of a game, you got obviously no East Coast time frame. He was on point to be able to get that pen, and he had his friends help him out by not getting the last kill.
Yeah, that was very good. So we actually get to see Tera getting locked in, which is kind of a surprise. Tera usually gets taken out in the first ban phase. Nobody really wants to deal with her. She has a lot of healing, a lot of control going for her, and is relatively regarded as one of the top, if not right now, like the #1 support.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, but maybe this is, again, as you said, this is kind of going to be a boot camp type of scenario. This is where you can play that strategy out. You're not at the world stage. Jingwei is going to get locked in right here, and that's going to be the AD carry. They want to maybe test some strategies out with this. Give up the Tera. We'll pick the Jingwei, you know, who can get away, and we'll see how it works out for the The Bois.
So last game, me and D-Sinks got to see the best on Scylla. And obviously very, very potent, not only because it was the best, but just Scylla having a very strong kit to her, having a, like, Crush does insane amounts of damage. I'm a monster. If you can hit it, does tons of damage. And seeing that get locked in here, you know, with Tera having the root, do you think that this so far is just like, I mean, really synergistic?
I mean, it's leading up to, you know, what's going to be a good time. Actually, I believe Metyankey is going to be the mid laner here for Mike and Ike, so it's going to be a little bit of a different role. He's going to be the one, so we'll see how it goes. But Rama's going to get locked in for the ADC, and, well, if you know who's playing on Mike and Ike's, you know that's going to Snoopy.
And after watching Snoopy, I mean, I remember and the first SWC, you can see, like, highlights of Snoopy, and this doesn't even relate just to that, but, like, go through the years, there are a lot of highlights, kind of similar to what you'd see Marvel's put out now, but there are montages of him on this ROM. He Absolutely. Is insane with it.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of his best characters, and as we go to the next banning phase, looks like the Ratatasker is going to get banned out, not wanting to deal with that jungler. Just a solid ban. I mean, Ratatasker Semi-Global Ultimate has a stun, has a penetration in his kit. Just, you know, a solid ban. Don't want to deal with that. Don't want to give it up to Mast.
And really accompanying that, not wanting to give even more control to Mike and Ikes here. And speaking of semi-global ultimates, Thor being taken off the board, that is a lot of CC, a lot of damage that is really going to be taken down, because Thor slowly but surely accelerates. Like, he has a passive that helps him early game, but that really benefits in team fights. You know, the closer, the more enemy gods that are right around you, the more damage you have, you get a little bit extra power. Berserker's Barrage starts doing a lot. Being able to land your ultimate in a group makes you so much more powerful. So taking that off the board, not too surprising.
A lot of junglers getting the boot right now. Serket, I mean, Team The Bois really looking to see what type of god pool Mask is going to be able to pull out here. And then even Mike and Ike still banning out some junglers. So we're going to have to see what the pickup is. This leads into a few, you know, limited options.
Nasha actually going to be locked in for Team The Bois, which is not anything unorthodox. Like, he has been played in online play, like we saw it in the SBL, we saw it in some group play. We even saw it yesterday. I remember seeing Gorgonzola pull that out and during the tournament. So it's not something unorthodox. And when it comes down to it, accompanying the fact that there's a Raw on the team, that sets up snipes perfectly. Naja goes up in the air, 1, 2, 3, you hit, you land, you get sniped, you're erased.
So digging into the god pool is Mask, and he's going to end up selecting the fastest god. He's got that little bit of a buff now. Mercury is going to get the lock-in, so we'll see what's going to happen here. We have two crit-heavy junglers, and it's really just going to be, if this game goes even, who gets what crit first and how hard is it?
I can almost hear Verb's excitement seeing the Mercury. Yesterday, he was very excited. He wanted to see this. And Osiris coming in actually brings me to something. Yesterday, when I was talking to Aggro, one of the things that ended up getting locked in was the Raven. And he was saying that he much would have preferred to see this Osiris CycloneSpin, I guess maybe taking a little bit of a note whether or not he watched yesterday, recognizing that Osiris might be a little bit stronger in this scenario. So bringing that one in and lending it up, there's an Ares at the very end.
I mean, hey, get rid of that mobility. If you have a Mercury that has a dash and that's trying to be quick, why not go ahead and chain them up, and you should be good. But let's get into the game. We have Mike and Ike on the blue side here. You recognize the name again, Cyclone, Mask. Metyankey will be playing the mid role here on the Scylla. Snoopy on that ADC, and then PBM, Mr. PolarBearMike will be running the Tera in the support lane.
And this is something I was saying earlier. We were looking kind of at the team rosters, and a lot of pros have formed up little ragtag groups. It's not necessarily any individual pro team. Like we see some of Soar here, we see ALG, and that's the same with Team Ego. You see kind of a mix and match. But all of these guys have played so much together that they're going to be able to have synergy almost like they've been playing for weeks.
Yeah, I mean, they play against each other enough to the point where they know the habits, and absolutely that's going to lead into the fact that even though they are separate, they're still together at the same way, and it looks like they're going to go ahead and work on that with a gank attempt at 5 seconds until the game starts. Minions haven't even spawned. CatSalad is over here hanging around the wall, but he does see this invade, so good positioning and awareness. I mean, again, these guys are kind of prepared. This should be a good matchup, but the invade's still attempting.
And there's no wards to really catch him out here, so this is possible. They hear the blue buff being started, so it's a 3 versus 2 going right off the bat. Wrath going to come through, and that's going to be a blue buff. No! That actually got picked up by Team Yea The Bois.
Wow, the Wrath was early, and Yea The Bois actually secured the blue buff. Invade fails. Ymir going straight to the lane. He's not worried about the speed buff. GoodEyeMoight is going to end up losing that. So they do get one buff, and it might be the more important one for the jungler.
And I feel like taking the speed buff, I mean, Naja, you don't really need it, but when you're a jungler and you lose your speed buff, that kind of ignites a burning inside of you. You get really upset about that. You're not going to
Snoopy's
let it
playing...
Stay.
Oh, that's Smoopy. No, I thought that was Snoopy. I got confused.
Smoopy
is Snoopy. It's Snoopy. I was like, wait, he's on the wrong side. All right, I just got my spectator and names confused for a second. We'll get that sorted out. All right, we're good. And blue buff going to get taken here on the right-hand side now for Cyclone. He will actually go ahead and secure himself a blue buff. I'm really kind of surprised, maybe not to see a counter invade on the speed, but I do like what Yea The Bois are doing. They're grouping up as 3. They went to go check the red buff, see what's available, and now they might even make this a gank attempt on the left-hand side, but it looks like Snoopy is too far back into the tower range, so they're just going to go back in the mid and farm.
And it's so far just seems like Team Yea The Bois, and you were mentioning this earlier because you were looking at the team and you were just like, how are these guys making it this far in? Like you didn't know any of the names. But they're showing they aren't here to play around. They are definitely going to be able to hold themselves at least a little bit competitively here with Mike and Ikes, which is a very impressive feat considering the names you have on there. And CycloneSpin taking a little bit of poke, but right now it's just the solo flat slap fight that we always see.
Yeah, I mean, Ymir actually has a little bit of a level advantage over Cyclone. He just now hit 4, so 4-4 we go. And taking a quick peek at Ymir again, pretty much the same level as just hit it off that wave. And now Metyankey and crew kind of cleaning out the mid wave, and they're going to look to see if there's anything available. The back left Harpies are up, but that might be a little bit too deep to die for.
It looks like Mike and Ikes are going relatively deep here. It's a 3-on-3. They're going for the fight. Root's coming down, but Mask is the one taking most of the damage. He's going to try to get out, but the ring toss is going to be a little bit too much for him. GoodEyeMoight going to be able to be the one who picks up that win.
I definitely didn't like that. I saw it on the map happening. I was like, are they going to really go for a back Harpy invade at sub 3 minutes? And you had 3 people, but red team, yeah, them boys were just in a better position overall. And ring bounce, look, the name is what it says. It bounces. Like, you can't get stacked up like that. It was pretty easy ability to hit, and Good Eye ends up getting the first blood.
And overall, it just seemed like a very beneficial fight for Yea The Bois. I mean, not only the fact that GoodEyeMoight, like, ring toss is going to excel in a small corridor like that, but Ares able to hit chains relatively easy because you're so close to each other. Even if he misses one, he might hit somebody who's standing behind you. And for the most part, it seemed like you had said, just a little bit greedy overall. But yeah, the boys is going to be the ones who take that advantage, move themselves just slightly ahead, first blood. And that's just enough little bit of a gold. But Naja is still behind Masked.
Yeah, that's really awkward. Well, that's because of the speed buff and the invades there that ended up happening. I guess he technically didn't get the speed buff and ended up missing out on some XP. So Naja actually is about to hit 5 off of this wave right now. So he'll end up catching up finally. But yeah, the first blood advantage. And here's the ultimate by Ares. And that's going to end up being a charged ult by Mask. He times it out beautifully. Now Smoopy is in trouble. He's going to go up in the air by Naja. And let's see if he falls.
And the snap's going to come through. That confirms the kill. Masked once again falls. That is 2 deaths now on the jungler. And his team really, like, there's just nothing they can do. That is the combo setup. Like, that, you can look at any kind of Smite game. That combo has been there for years now. And it's hard to kind of predict. You have to be very perfectly. You have to use that purification to get away from the stun for Naja. But if they just use a blind ult, they're going to go through. As I'm a Monster comes down, but doesn't hit the mark.
Yeah, Metyankey a little bit off right there. Not a big deal. He'll get warmed up here as, again, that combination, Naja into Ra, it's classic Smite, man. 101. Sometimes sticking with the basics is what ends up winning you games and getting you leads that end up, getting you those ability to snowball and so on and so forth, as I'm trying to stumble across my words. But you guys get my point as we have a fight here in the back jungle.
Metyankey using the purification to try and get away. He is low, and now it looks like they want to turn the fight. Mike and Ikes going in. GoodEyeMoight taking a ton of damage from CycloneSpin, who's going to continue chasing it down. Beautiful use of the passive. Yeah, walking through that Ymir wall is just so good, as CatSalads now going to get a 2-man freeze, but PolarBearMike, he is here. He's going to be chasing down. Masked using his ult, and CatSalads should be dead to rights here.
Well, that was a nice little wrath stun on his own. He ends up getting 3, but CatSalad ends up actually taking the spill. He did what he can to delay, but 2-2 now read the kills as Mask is able to go ahead and pick himself up a kill, right? Well, actually, no, I thought Mask did get the kill. Scylla, Metyankey ended up getting the kill, and so did, obviously, Cyclone earlier by walking through that wall. So he gets the 2 assists. He's coming back in there. I mean, he's still above the other jungler, so no really big deals there. Still got those level 6 first.
So I didn't think about this at all during picks and bans, but CycloneSpin just showed it. I was talking about the fact that, Raven was picked yesterday, and, when me and Aggro were talking about it, it didn't seem like anything great. Is GoodEyeMoight going to get tossed back into the tower? Not stunned out. Wow. He's going to be able to get away. But CycloneSpin does great in lane against Ymir, because if Ymir tries to wall him off, as long as he's got his passive, he just walks through the wall, and that is just very beautifully executed. I feel like we don't get to see it as often as I would like. That's something that comes up very rarely, and if Thor had been on the team as well, we might see it a lot this game, but overall, with just the Ymir walls, and I guess some Tera walls, I think he can walk through those as well, so it'll be interesting to see how CycloneSpin works out here.
Yeah, I mean, Cyclone's, he knows his character in and out, obviously, Osiris with that passive is really potent. It just, look, you're always going to wall as a Ymir, even if you see the passive, you're just going to try to do that, but it only takes a few auto attacks to be able to get through the wall. Obviously, he also has the ultimate, so he can, ult over, he can sit there and get into his passive pretty quickly. Gives him a lot of opportunities, but I do like what I'm seeing by Smoopy here. On the left-hand side, we have 1 sentry ward and 1 red ward as well to really get some good coverage of the Gold Fury, and that's obviously always going to be important as we near that 10-minute mark. This is an even game at 6:30. I mean, we take a look at the graphs. It's a 2K experience lead for Blue, so they are farming a little bit better. That comes from some of the buff steals, as looks like Ra going to have to just heal back up, but he's fine with that.
Looking at the wards placed, like you had mentioned, there were a lot. Ares has 3 right now. Naja has 2. And 5 right off the bat is more than Blue has placed the entire match.
It took 5 T fuel to secure that speed buff. You see that? Like, that's how scary that invade potential is on these buffs.
And as they see it, actually, we see the Wrath go through a little bit too early. CatSalads, I think, just lost his blue buff because of it, and he's falling relatively low. He's going to die down. PolarBearMike does get the ultimate. Smoopy and GoodEyeMoight being in the targets. GoodEyeMoight being taken down very fast.
And it looks like Metyankey just has to ult over the wall, trying to get some damage on top of the area. He's not going to be able to find it. But here we go. Mike and Ike in the crew now. These guys are starting to pull a little bit ahead. That little team fight right there gives them about a 1,500 gold advantage and now increases their experience gain to about 4K. So this is where, yeah, them boys really have to start to slow the game down a little bit. They did a good job of grouping up. They're staying together. They just got to go ahead and really secure these camps. Like, you can't sit there and lose. I mean, they were able to get the speed buff, but they 5-man split it. You got to be able to have efficient farming. And 5-man splitting a speed buff is not efficient.
And the efficiency really is what we see coming out of Mike and Ikes right now. They're all spread out. They know the grouping they have. I don't think I've seen them have more than 3 people at a buff, as I think Mask might have just walked up and stolen. No, it did get picked up by Larry Harry there. Okay. I was like, did Mask just walk up and see? Like, he just walked up to it. No wrath, no anything, just walking into the buff. But as it stands, Larry Harry does confirm his own buff. And right now, yeah, the boys have way more vision, but they haven't really been using it to excel anywhere.
It's on the left-hand side. It's by the Gold Fury. They're really, really worried about this Gold Fury being snuck. And I mean, again, Osiris, you know, Cyclone does have a wrath if he happens to rotate, but he's not level 12 yet, so there's no real, you know, teleport happening until he hits level 12 there. You don't have to worry about that. I like the vision, but maybe a little bit deeper and a little bit higher on the right-hand side. But you see those coverages, but I need to see it on the, like the top side by the speed by their blue.
Yeah, and this is always the hard point, you know, looking down at it. A lot of wards have been
easy
in the
for
inventory
us.
of
Yeah,
the boys. And like we see it from the top down, but the other thing I want to point out is that you have to find the right balance. Always having wards there is not necessarily the best thing. If you have 2 wards around the Gold Fury, you don't need the sentry right on top of it. You'll know if they're making the rotation into the Gold Fury pit. So having all of the wards they have is actually kind of taking away some of the gold they have. Wards are definitely
gold,
really good, but
yeah, 50 gold per and sentries are 125. As we do see the 1v1 fight happening on the left. Snoopy is going to try to go ahead and go against Larry. Larry ends up ulting out, and then Mask is over here fighting somebody. Snoopy's going to go in the air. Good Eye ends up falling. 2 snipes will hit, 3 snipes hit. Cyclone ends up just KSing Matt. Wow, where did he come from?
That is the reason that Snoopy on Rom is one of the.
Oh, he got that teleport I was talking about.
He got that teleport. He's coming through. Yeah. He hit that level 12, so he's able to make that rotation. And while we see the snipe Battiato trying to get something, but the Wrath was just too soon, and they got it. Or not too soon, but it was at the right time. It's just it came out right before the snipe came out, so there's no steal potential really. As now Jing looking to be in a very, very bad position.
Well, I saw a lot of good jukes coming out from Snoopy, and I think Larry understands he dead. He pulls a Zapman Aegis. He just ends up hitting the button. Right-hand side, we do have a speed buff being invade happening. 1v3 is CycloneSpin. He might be tired of this game being a little closer than he likes. He's just going ham.
And CycloneSpin is definitely showing some prowess on this Osiris, being able to fight that. And he's the one who came out on top. GoodEyeMoight going to be the one who falls. CatSalads, no mana to really fight here. Smoopy is there, but he's level 8, so really they can just eat through this team if they want to. The tier 2 towers being up, though, might deter them.
The name of the game in NA is aggression. Obviously, we've got word that this is a boot camp team that's getting ready, and they're just practicing in this tournament for Worlds. Absolutely love the fact that they're able to take that opportunity and do it. But this is just the aggression that they show. It just seems like a lot of these other teams just don't know how to respond to that aggression. On the left-hand side, Snoopy is actually getting kind of bodied. A half HP. Larry using that Hasted Fatalis effect to perfect advantage, and Snoopy hasn't even attempted to shoot an auto attack. I think he's just baiting for his team.
He's just waiting patiently, and he does fall down, but Mast has made the rotation over. Mast actually going to fall down. No, he gets the dash. There's Battiato. They come through. I thought he was out. I thought he was out kind of hopeful, but it turned around. Right as you said, you were talking about North American aggression is when I noticed that Snoopy, no mana is standing between the tier 1 and the tier 2 on the left-hand side. That's what I'm saying. And it's just like the aggression, like it's the same thing with the wards. Limit the amount of aggression you have. Going too far, that loses games.
I mean, that right there, Snoopy didn't even attempt to auto attack them. A little surprised. I don't know. Maybe he's giving one up to the team. He's whatever, and they've got a secure enough lead. You know, taking a look at the graphs that these left-hand Harpies are going to be in contention, but it does look like it got secured by blue as the XP is about 7,200 and gold is about 3,000 right now. So yeah, I mean, Mike and Ike, they have a decent lead for sure, but yeah, you got to fight back.
Yeah, and I mean, as it stands, losing that kill overall, it's kind of split across the board. Masked with 3 deaths. Snoopy picking up the 4th one for his team. Yeah, the boys have kind of made a dent in that gold fury, that gold lead that we saw Mike and Ikes have. So they're sitting now, it's about 3,400 gold in favor of Mike and Ikes. But considering earlier it was like over 4,000, kind of pushing towards going to 5,000, that's pretty good. They brought it down about 1,500, and they can slowly but surely bring it down more as long as they keep getting picks like this.
Well, Cyclone's showing that he's a master of farming because he already had that pick when he teleported to the left-hand side, and now again we do see Snoopy versus Larry again in what was a 1v1 and quickly turns into friends and company as Mask is running along, and well, the shell is popped. Snoopy will go ahead and hit that auto attack, and Mask is just going to wisely ult out. Snoopy's going to get chained, but he does get the tower, and now he's going to fall in the air to Neja.
Yeah, he's going to go down here. Yeah, at the very last second, going to be able to pick it. Mast, once again, trying to help his teammate out, but it looks like he will fall because of it. Although GoodEyeMoight going to go down. This should pick up Mast with Smoopy ultimate, but now he is in a bad position, so it will be a return kill. And this has just been a fight, but that is 4 deaths on the side of Team Yea The Bois. CatSalads the only one left alive, whereas 3 people stand. CycloneSpin and PolarBearMike are even pretty much full health here. And with a heal on Tera, I don't think Metyankey's going to be down for much longer either.
No, he should be fine. And this is just where this XP advantage is coming into play. We're at 10,000 now, and this is the point where, them boys, they have an opportunity, but they severely need to slow this game down. That's one of the hardest things to do when you're behind, is to slow the game down and not get into these forced fights. And that was just a forced fight. Again, it was what was a 1v1. All of a sudden, the rotation comes through, quickly turns into a 3, and then all of a sudden, the team just kind of starts rolling in. And that's what it leads to. It leads to those type of fights. You can't do that when you're behind. But I still like the fact that these guys are trying to group and play together, and they're not afraid to fight.
Yeah, and they're semi-successful in each engagement. It's just slight, small mistakes are what's kind of bringing them down. If we saw this kind of, and I mean, we cast Friday Night Smite. If we saw this kind of team in Friday Night Smite, they could push very hard. In fact, even if we saw this in like a North American or European Challenger Cup, they'd go very far. But as it stands right now, up against these pros, they're able to pick off those mistakes. As another combo coming down, Mass getting erased, but Battiato going down there, and that is just going to be a big healer down and a lot of the damage for Team Yea The Bois.
Well, the damage is not on Metyankey's side, as he's missed a couple he's got a couple ulties, but he's also missed a few. He's sitting second on the damage chart, so I can't really say too much at 8,000, but he is a Scylla. I mean, he's just not really getting the setup for the Ama monsters that you'd like to see. And Snoopy over here, Rama's going to go in the air. Here we go. 1 snipe hits, 2 snipes does not. Can the 3rd one hit? No. Snoopy going to be off the mark there. Larry ends up cleaning up PolarBearMike for that penalty.
And Snoopy trying to get some aggression down in the mid lane. He's throwing out the autos, but not fully able to connect with it, and I think his team are just going to go for the invades, possibly go for a gold fear if they want to. No, they're going to turn. CycloneSpin wants to fight, and he's going to go in as hard as he can on this mid lane tower.
Tether is so potent. I mean, it's one of the most underrated abilities in the game, in my opinion, is Tether. I don't know why this mid tower is going on, and Snoopy's taking the gold fear. If we can hover over Tether real fast. Damage reduction is so key. 30% plus 5% per second while you're there. That's a lot of damage reduction. Like, that's just pure percentage that you're not getting hit. So he's able to dive those towers, and he's able to do that. And now that he's got the passive where, you know, he gets a little bit of magical protections, he's even stronger doing those type of dives.
And really coming down with it against the Ymir. Like, the best thing they have to kind of stop CycloneSpin is to lock him down, freeze him, wall him off. But again, that Osiris passive just too strong for the Ymir. So a lot of the CC and lockdown they have to deal with CycloneSpin doesn't really work out in their favor. Cyclone has essentially a counter for it. And really all across the board, Team Yea The Bois, they are focusing, I feel like, the wrong picks. I think they're looking too much at, like, you know, CycloneSpin or PolarBearMike. Go for Snoopy. I mean, Mast has died quite a few times this game. He's sitting with the 5 deaths, but he hasn't been making the impact. He's not really the one that's scaring me as much as the 5-0-6 Osiris, but he's just hard to lock down. So, I mean, where do they throw that aggression? I'd look at Scylla. Maybe it's Snoopy.
Yeah, I mean, you got to maybe try to put a little pressure on Metyankey. He's, you know, he's had free room to farm and throw out crushes and do damage still. I mean, again, just he needs a little setup to hit these ultimates. But other than that, I mean, he's been playing solid at 2-0 right now. They're going to clear out this ward vision. They got to know what's happening. The chains are going to come out. 1 chain connects, 2 chains connects, and will the 3rd one hit? Yeah, but PolarBearMike's not really worried about that. He's only going to take about 10% of his HP. And, well, the fight seems to be on, and the relic advantage goes the way of Mike and Ike, and this isn't going to look good for them.
Now we do see Mask go in and once again gets chained up. No escape, pulling only PolarBearMike though. And really all of the damage being thrown down. GoodEyeMoight and CatSalads are really the one that are taking the damage. Mask's going to be able to pick up 1. We're going to see Snoopy go in the air. He's looking for the snipes. Don't know where he's throwing them. 1 not going to hit, 2 going to hit. But the 3rd one didn't come down at all. I think he fell down before he could shoot it off. And this should just be a tier 1 tower. Cyclone's been doing some very good zoning.
So this is, you know, this is where Them Boys just have to take this as a little bit of a learning experience, is the fact that they're fighting into a team that had all their relics before they could get those same power spikes up. The tier 1 tower over there by that fight was just a little bit of a disadvantage because, as I mentioned, the relic fight, Snoopy just astral arrows, just cleans up Larry, and They look to clean up this mid Phoenix. You know, looking at the levels, there was a couple level 11s in, you know, Neja just now hitting 12. Ares is still level 11. You have 2 team relics or 2, you know, personal relics that you still don't have available. And those are great times to take the fight when you're ahead, just like Mike and Ike did. And Metyankey going for the ulti right there. And this time he hits it, but it gets sanctuaried out.
And he's going to be running away himself using a little bit of heals, but there's a nice Ymir wall. This is what I wanted to see. They're going to be able to find the kill on the Metyankey, maybe able to pick up Snoopy here as 4 members of Yea The Bois are chasing him down. The damage is going to connect, but that didn't do as much as I thought it would. The chain's not going to hit either.
Miss. And the roll forward will hit. I can't believe the blink chain will miss, but Snoopy still looks to fall unless he can 1v4. I mean, Devo Gloves is OP, but I don't know if you can 1v4, my friend. But the whole entire time, well, while Snoopy is just sitting there running around and delaying people, Tier 2 tower gets taken on the right-hand side, and Mercury charging up that ult. Cyclone's got 2 tethered. Now he's going to go up in the air, and let's see if Mask can help him out.
And we actually see the sun come out from the tether on the Raw, so they weren't able to get it, but CycloneSpin ultimately falling down. Mask didn't want to help out there. I mean, there's been several times he's gone in to help somebody on his team, and that's where most of his deaths have gone. He's like, okay, I'm trying to save you.
Die, Cyclone. He's like, that's your one death. I've died 5 times. As the Fire Giant fight is on, Mask will end up getting that revenge kill for his buddy. Neja is going to fall. Raw Snipe was off the mark. CatSalads is going to get PvE'd down by the Fire Giant. No, he just gets out of range. He's one-shottable. PolarBearMike is going to hit the 2, and the crushing walls will connect. Larry's going to go on the other side and try to use his haste fatalis effect and agility to catch Mask, but he's not going to be able to. They have to back now, and the crits are strong from Mask as he just 2-shots Larry Harry.
I mean, MVP of the last fight has to be the Fire Giant. If you can't take it properly, it does so much damage to you and your team, and we see that happen. CatSalad fell down specifically because he just took way too much damage from it, and I guess they didn't account for the fact that Mike and Ikes, they weren't dead enough, they weren't gone long enough for them to be able to turn it around, and they lose the Fire Giant now, so Mike and Ikes pick it up, and that's going to give them even more of a lead. They're now sitting at about 10, 11,000.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in time, we're looking at possibly the beginning of the end at the 20-minute mark. That Fire Giant definitely going to be the big deterring moment. Look, we've been in casual games, we've been in ranked games. We've all tried the, oh, hey, they just backed it, they just died, 20-minute, we're behind Fire Giant. Let's be honest, how many times does that really work out in our favor? And how many times does it end up in this? A lot more often it ends up in this.
A lot of the time, even if you even if Yea The Bois had been able to tank that properly, they're still going to be kind of low. They're going to be in a vulnerable position because they have to be dodging whatever the Fire Giant's throwing out. So if Mike and Ikes had been able to get there even just after Yea The Bois had taken the Fire Giant, it still would have more than likely resulted in something very similar. But as it stands, having the Fire Giant on Mike and Ikes, that makes a lot more open for them. They have 1 Phoenix down already. They're looking to kill off this last tower. And really, it's looking at Yea The Bois. They have to have a very good defense, and so far, they just haven't been able to hold up as well as they had wanted to.
You know, again, early on, the grouping was great. It just at this point, when you're just out, you know, when you don't have the experience lead or, you know, even close to, that's the issue. I mean, gold, we obviously talk about a lot, but 3-man blink in by Snoopy. He's going to pull a couple in. Rama's going to go into the air. Can he get any sort of shots fired? Larry gets hit twice. 3rd shot disconnect on Rama, but it doesn't really matter too much. Scylla's into I'm a Monster, gets sanctuaried out again. So far, good defense by Yea The Bois.
And they're holding very well. PolarBearMike not taking a lot of damage from the Phoenix, but CatSalad is eating a ton of damage from that crush. It ultimately looks like the Phoenix should go down. Snoopy focusing that as much as he can, and all of Mike and Ikes really holding it down.
That was the best Yea The Bois could have done. They sanctuaried out, they baited out a few abilities, they played that really, really well. It's just the Fire Giant plus a Tera heal. Left Phoenix falls down, mid Phoenix looking to fall as it respawns. There's just not a lot these guys can do while they're under leveled. And PolarBearMike does get knocked up in Raw Snipe. It's about half his HP, but he's still fine.
And it should have hit Metyankey as well, but a nice Purification Sanctuary combo going to get him away from that one. And Mike and Ikes are looking. They want the objectives. They're going to go get this 3rd Phoenix because going under the Titan, you can lose a lot more. They have fire minions pouring in, and they split the aggression. Yeah, the boys have to decide where they want to go. GoodEyeMoight going in and going to fall down very fast. CatSalad looking like the next on the block. He does put up a wall between him and Snoopy to stop the autos, but it doesn't save him for too much longer. Larry Harry going to fall down. Ra's the only one left alive, and it looks like they are trying to kill him in the fountain instead of killing the Titan right now.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Snoopy's just like trying to out-crit him. Metyankey ends up getting that kill, and that's going to end up being the end of the game, guys. So it looks like Mike and Ike are going to end up securing this win over Yea The Bois, who played very well early on. Again, just a couple small little mistakes that ended up, as you said, leading to these pro players taking advantage of and really just getting the farm lead. And all of a sudden, once the XP hit about 5K, it was really hard to stop that snowball effect. But yeah, Mike and Ike will make it into the semis. Now, if you go to the brackets, guys, that are able to be linked, you will see that this is going to end up being a very interesting semifinals matchup. Team Ego versus Mike and Ikes. This team that we just watched will be played in the semifinals. There's a best of 3. And then on the top side, representing Astral Authority, the Challenger Cup team who finished second place, has made it all the way to the semifinals. And they're currently going against Jeff Hinla and his amazing friends. I'm not sure which games we're going to bring you guys, but as soon as we get one, we're going to bring you this best of 3 semifinals action soon and shortly. I'm going to take a break for that. Agro's going to be joining the desk with GoodEyeMoight. Any last thoughts, Gore, before we go?
I mean, it's looking to be very interesting. Everyone will know each team in the semifinals, and pretty much whoever makes it to the finals, you know it's going to be a very close matchup. I'm kind of wondering who's going to come out and what we're going to see come out of it, because ultimately, these are teams like, I mean, Jeff Hinla and his amazing friends, that's Old Cog Prime. These are world champions, but they haven't played together in a while. So has this been enough practice? Will they be able to come through and kind of upset some of these other pro league teams? It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're going to go throw to a break, guys. We will be right back. Enjoy the show. Make sure you go ahead and also link your hi-rez account with the Twitch down below. Click the button. Get yourself some in-game rewards. Hopefully you get that Twitch Ymir skin. Good luck. Have fun. We'll be right back.